It's your boy WillieLeeHM representing Word Overdose TV today, coming to you live from DeSoto, Texas. Right, I got my homie on here today, Tony Roberson. He lived down in Florida. He another Saginaw, Michigan man. I get a lot of Saginaw folks that's all over the country, right? That always be like showing love, and I show love back. So this is one of my oldest friends. This brother was one of the best men in my wedding, my groomsmen, right? So I'm gonna bring up my homie Tony. We're gonna chop it up for about an hour or so and see how it go, y'all. So stay tuned. Anybody got any questions, make sure y'all hit us up and let us know. We're gonna talk about a lot of topics today. So what's going on with you, Tom?
Hey, what's up, Will, man? Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Let's see how this thing,
For sure.
let's see how it goes.
Man, this dude to middle school, elementary, probably. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely elementary. I remember the old days at the safety patrol. We were, obviously you forgot that, but we were definitely on safety patrol together at Emerson Elementary.
We did have to help people cross the street. That's right, bro.
Yeah, Will used to, what did you do? You used to draw, do flips up the trees, all types of pee in the bed type baby stuff that you used to do.
Hey, I was a legit baby kid. You know what I'm saying?
You was definitely a baby kid. Nappy hair, needed a haircut all the time.
The brother trying to get it right these days. You know what I'm saying? I can't be all debonair like you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm trying. Out here today, I took my boys to go play some baseball. So I'm trying to teach my middle son that don't live with me. I'm trying to teach him baseball. My other two sons, they playing basketball. So I wanted him to make sure he feel included, got him a nice sport. So we working on baseball for him. You know what I'm saying? Getting him on his athleticism and all that good stuff. What about you? What you been up to today?
Hey, man, what's up with football? I thought Texas was a place for football.
Man, it is, bro. They going hard right now with the 7-on-7s right now. Like, it's heavy down here. But it's 110 degrees.
Hey, football don't stop. So you telling me you don't have your boys in football?
Nah, they ain't in no football. They doing track and basketball, bro. Hey, my oldest son, he a real good athlete though. He wanted to play football, but I gotta go make sure we check in with the missus. The wife don't want him in football. Hey, I like basketball anyway, so basketball and track it is. You know what I'm saying?
I don't recall Will ever putting on the shoulder pad, so they may be getting it honest. I'm
the fastest dude though. I still got outrun any man over 40.
You're the fastest guy I know.
I'm the fastest man over 40 for sure.
Over 40.
Over 40. Get it. Make sure you put the over 40. I'm 43. And I think I could beat anybody in basketball over 40. Boxing over 40. Hey man, I think I'm pretty good athlete still.
Hey man, that may be another go live. Hey, I doubt basketball, boxing, weightlifting, any of those types of events
that I could beat you in.
Hey, any man over 40.
Hey, that might be a good live though. You're right. I might start just go ahead and challenging folks over 40. What you good at? No, with you in particular, I think you can get me in bench pressing.
That's it, huh?
That's all I can do. Squats, deadlifting, pull-ups, sit-ups, sprinting. I think I pretty much beat you in everything other than a bench press, bro.
Hey,
maybe a bicep curl. You got them arms now.
I saw your squats a few months or a year ago, and we talked about that. And I wouldn't showed you.
You got on
was nothing, brother.
I don't know if I saw your squats yet, though.
You didn't? I gave you a video back doing exactly what you did. Way easier, way more reps. Absolutely.
All right. That's
how soon you forget. So I think the over 40 is indicative of, in your part anyway, amnesia. That's what over 40 gets you. The amnesia.
You said I got early onset dementia, y'all.
Dementia, yeah. Hey, you don't want to face the truth.
How about this then? Me and you, we're going to post a video in a month. How many reps we can do 225? Got to be clean rep squat. Clean rep squat. How many reps you can do 225?
Of squats?
Yeah.
Of squats? No, we're not doing that.
Squat.
We're not doing that.
225?
315.
That ain't even enough. That's 11.
Yes, because that's just too much cardiovascular for me. We can do 315.
315.
Yeah, we can do 315.
You know, you got them old man knees. Them knees gonna hold up for that, bro.
Hey, it's your challenge. It's your challenge.
Right on, then. I like that. All right. I'm down for that. So, what you thinking about? Like, I want to ask your opinion on like this growing gender divide I'm seeing, bro. Like, I'm seeing everybody.
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake?
I think it's fake.
Folks feeling very passionate about this gender war right now. On one side, the women feeling very passionate about how they feel about the men, and the men feeling very passionate about how they feel about the women. You think it's fake? Do tell.
I think I don't know. I think that if you're I don't know, maybe not confident in who you are, especially if you're single and still trying to figure life out, it's easy for idle thought to enter your mind and to I mean, we're seeing it in Florida right now. Kids are convincing the school districts, their parents, that they want to be furries, and a furry is an animal. So they're in some places they're putting litter boxes in schools. So in today's society, where everybody gets a trophy, everybody opinion matters, whether it's the tail wagging the dog theory, it's all valid, and so we disregard gender roles, or gender. I shouldn't say gender roles. We disregard gender. We disregard Darwinism. We disregard science, physics, and say, you know what? If you have an opinion, let's look into it. And I don't think that's a recipe for greatness. To say everybody's opinion could be right when we know certain things cannot be right.
Right. Hey, shout out to Janice Bates. She said T Rose. That's the homie, Janice Bates. I don't know. Yeah. You stacking off for sure. Yeah. That's
absolutely. I know Janice. What's going on, beautiful?
Yeah. Super pretty.
And she said, and she gave me the old T Rose moniker from a long time ago. I love it. I still use it.
I know. But yeah, I think you touched on a great point, especially like you being in Florida, talking about what the Florida schools are going through, what some of the aspects of like a kid can bypass their parents and go to the school district or the school and talk about things that they have not discussed with their parents. And the schools are trying to pass such laws. I think that's egregious in my opinion. Like, these are my children. You should have to go through the parents first before you have access to their children, especially when you talk about chopping off body parts, changing genders, taking hormone blockers, things like such. These things have ramifications that can go past a fad level. So a kid can grow out of a phase of this and say, you know what, I was just confused at the time, but no, now I really want to be the gender I was assigned at birth. But now you don't take all kind of hormone blockers at a very critical age of puberty. What say you to that, man? Like, are you for those new Florida laws, or are you for the strict guidelines that your governor has set down that's causing a lot of issues for himself?
Hey, I think DeSantis is a very good governor. I think he rules by Christian principle. I'm a Christian man. However, I will say, I think everybody should be whatever they want to be, whatever religion you seek. That's up to you and your creator. I believe in one God, and Jesus was the son of that God. And so my principles and my morals are based on that. And again, I don't knock anyone, but I think there are just innate things that have to be taken into consideration. And the truth is the truth. And when I am buried and the archaeologists dig my body up 300,000 years from now, they're going to know it was a black male that was 6'3", and there is no ambiguity in that. I think we're all born with challenges and things that aren't perfect. And I think in today's society, those challenges get confused with, well, you know what? I'm not in the body I was supposed to be in. And I just don't necessarily buy that. I don't think God made any mistakes. And that's my opinion. In today's culture, society, everybody, certain groups of people want to have their opinion and not allow others to have theirs. And if you do, you're a bigot or you're anti. I'm not anti. I'm not a bigot. I just have my beliefs, and I think we should all be able to have our beliefs and be able to stand on them if we want to.
You know what I think on that aspect? Like, I don't understand why we can't be indifferent no more.
Absolutely, right? What's wrong with it?
How can I be indifferent? Like, to the alphabet community, hey, I'm not for you, but I'm not against you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not for you. I'm not going out here advocating.
Hey, Will, hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, you sure you're not against them? I remember I came down to your wedding. I had these skinny jeans on. And you were not about it. I'm just joking, everybody. Will is definitely a loving person.
Yeah, I love everybody. I got it. Hey, me and Tony, that's our relationship. Like, we got to be able to tug each other call. I got to be able to get on him. He get on me all the time. We gonna get on each other on this live for sure. You know what I'm saying? But I be like, as far as like passing laws that are beneficial to the LGBTQ community, that's something that that's not really something that's in my circumference of awareness. I'm more so, hey, I'm not for you, but I'm not against you. I want to be able to be indifferent. I don't have to love you. I don't have to love you on a personal level. I can love people. I can love everybody, but I don't have to love you on a personal level. So I find that kind of challenging, bro, because I only see one viewpoint able to be shared across mainstream. There's only one way of thinking that can be promoted across, a wider audience without getting canceled today. And it's like the people that are canceling, they preach for tolerance. And this is what gets me the most. Like, we want tolerance, but then they won't tolerate views that are different than theirs. What'd you say about that, bro?
No, I mean, that's I agree wholeheartedly, 100%. That the scales have tipped, but I talked about it a little earlier, and I believe in science, I believe in God, I believe in Darwinism, and there's only so far a pendulum can shift before it corrects itself. And I believe we'll see that in our lifetime, because we've seen the opposite in our lifetime where, we're born in the 80s, 1980. We both were. 80s, 70s. Things have drastically changed. The landscape, how America looks today is different. However, I'll challenge you to look at the rest of the world. It really isn't as different. The rest of the world seems more principled than we are today, right?
Very much so.
China is looking to take our proverbial lunch money if we don't get our stuff together, right? Everybody thinks that, right? That we look at our military today and they're loosening standards, but I like to give this analogy. I think I was a college junior in 2001 when 9/11 happened. And when that happened, we weren't worried about people's feelings. We weren't worried about what color your hair was. We said, you know what? Get the biggest, baddest Navy SEALs, and we got to go find out who did this. And to me, that's Darwinism. When the shit hits the fan, right? We go back to what we know is right.
Right.
And And that's where I think we should really be judged by. I mean, we all, again, like we were talking about in the 70s, 80s, all this stuff that we're seeing today was prevalent. It was happening, but especially in the Black community, and I think it's still kind of there today. When it comes to homosexuality in the 80s, Black people who practice that, and no shade on those who do. I have no problem with it. You do you, I do me. But it seems like they knew that they were different, and they even, in my opinion, thought it was possibly an abomination to religion, right? And so they basically took up well, this is how I choose to be. I know it's not necessarily the most comfortable thing for others around me, or maybe even right, but this is what I want to be, and I'll do it on my own time. That's how it used to be looked at, right? But we've shifted way from that to say everything is normal. And I don't know, we can look back 10 years ago. I remember reading an article where a person brought a peacock on a flight as their service animal, right? It only took a few years for the airlines to say, you know what, we're going too far, right? Like, I've told you this, Will, a lot of times. Like when I go about life and thinking about my kids and my future and my decisions I make, I think about like the Oregon Trail, and there's a few necessities that you need to be able to make it from point A to point B. And as a person, especially as a man, if you need a timeout for 30 days because the dog ate your homework, there's just going to be a bigger, badder man that's going to take your lunch money, kill you, eat your bicep, whatever he has to eat. He's going to keep going. And the world really hasn't changed from that because, again, that's Darwinism. If you're going to slow the group down because we got a mission, China's trying to overtake us, Russia wants our oil, whatever it is. And if you can't persevere because you got so many other things going on, then the ship is going to keep going. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just my opinion.
No, I think you put me up on something. You said you was a college junior when 9/11 happened. I was a college dropout when 9/11 happened. I was
hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. And we both still here.
Hey, you sound like, hey, woke up that morning.
Hey, you know what's so funny? Hey, Will, you know what's so funny about that? College Dropout probably came out that year from Kanye.
No, I don't think 2001. Kanye went around 2001.
You crazy?
Hey, when I was bumping it though. Yeah, 9/11 hit. We was watching the news. I'm laying in bed with a little pretty something, and we see the building. We see the first building go, and it automatically. You're right. Like it automatically changed the focus on folks. I want to say this. Like it reminds me of the saying, "Peaceful times make for weak men. Weak men make for hard times. Hard times make for strong men, and then strong men make for peacetime." And the cycle just keeps continuing. I think right now we are in one of those. We are in a time of hard times. Like I see a lot of people going through it right now, and you wouldn't be able to tell from Facebook, but there's a lot of people out here struggling today, right? And I feel like this is the time where we need to get back to manhood, like actual being strong men, actually being men of discipline. So even though you're Christian and I'm not, I respect your Christianity, your Christian faith, your Christian principles, because it takes a certain level of discipline for a man to live such a life.
Hey, you know what? I don't know if I agree with a lot of the superlatives or a lot of things I hear about, like we got to get back, we got to get back.
Okay, what's your thoughts on it?
I remember I must have been a sophomore or freshman in high school, and this still sticks with me to this day. I had a history teacher that got so pissed off. He did not like the adage that history tends to repeat itself, right? But I think human nature causes history or things from the past to repeat themselves. And I don't think that. I mean, a lot of the issues uh, are heightened by the media. Social media, we can see what someone's doing in Russia, in California immediately. So I think there's something that makes us believe that things are different today than they always were, but they're not. I think globalization has caused us to think things are different, but things aren't too different. I think
I can't agree with that.
no, that's fine. Hear me out. Hey, I shake men's hands all the time, and just like I did when I was 15, and I still get firm handshakes. When I go to the gym, they're still men. There's still men that do dip, drink beer, cuss, and whatever you want to call it. I think the anomalous stuff, the tail that's wagging the dog, it's probably a little bit more pervasive today, but it's still not overwhelming. We focus on it more because the media talks about it. We want to talk about it. I think it's human nature for us to talk about the things that are different. But I think at the end of the day, if an old woman is walking across the street, she falls and all of her groceries fall out of her hand, 95% of people are going to help her, are going to feel compassion, are going to feel a need to rescue. And that ain't changed. I mean, science and Darwinism takes generations, thousands of years to affect that type of change. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, like I said earlier, with the globalization and internet that is fast forwarding those things. But I still think, because I believe in the Creator, that He created us for a purpose. And you're never going to be able to erase that purpose.
All right, I want to give you just a bit of pushback on that. I think that this new age of the internet has changed the human mind, actually. Like, of course, you touched on the fact that we are a lot more, the globe has gotten a lot smaller. We get the information that's going on in Russia in real time, things like such.
Yep.
I often joke with people about if they shut off Wi-Fi in any given city, like that city would go into chaos, bro. Like, so much stuff is dependent on Wi-Fi right now. People don't know where to get the news. My kids don't even know what a newspaper is. You know what I'm saying? Like, people wouldn't know where to get their news from. They wouldn't be able to get online and do anything or see anything. The internet has changed the world. As a person that came up through healthcare, I've seen so many folks attempt suicide or actually go through with suicide because of online bullying or not being able to live up to expectations that they see online. I've seen people go in our generation from playing video games too much to still playing video games, but now our women have a lot more opportunity to be on social media for all their waking hours. People sleep next to their phone now. Your phone is it's like an extension of you now, and this is something that's very different that no other generation of people have had to deal with. Our children right now, they're growing up and never will know a world without internet. Never will know a world without mobile devices. And
I still say that.
Stuff, okay,
I still say that doesn't change the nature of people in whole. It's so funny. I guarantee you, just black people in general, we all see it. All of my kids, I don't know what the hell it is, when they're 1 or 2 years old, if I play Isley Brothers, Jay-Z, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, whatever it may be, culture, right? The culture. They, for some reason or another, are more drawn to that than, I don't know, whatever country song you want to talk about, right? It's just certain things that are innate in people that are just there. And again,
I think that's environment. That's environment. They're not around country music. If they were around country music more, they might tune in more to that than to jazz or R&B or
But again, they're I'm talking about at 1 or 2 years old. Like they get more excited about it. I'll give you another example. You can say what you want to say. I got a 6-year-old daughter right now, and she's been this way as long as I can remember. She just thinks that pink is for girls and boys play with trucks, and that's just how I think. You can call it environment, but at the end of the day, Will is 6'2", 6'3", Tony's 6'2", 6'3". There aren't many women, and Will and I aren't trained fighters to the extent of a trained fighter. Even that, what percentage of women would jump in the ring and be able to knock us out, or even damage us? Probably less than 5%, even though we're novices, right?
Yeah.
So,
I get that. But
so
do you understand that there are women that are trying today to do that?
But my point is that validates my point. That validates my point even more. They're trying, and I mean it's just not it's not feasible.
The homie Tamando Doster said these are learned behaviors. I have to agree. These are learned behaviors. Everything that you're talking right now, I don't think you don't come out the womb with that on your DNA. These are things that your environment has nurtured.
Hey.
Social engineering. Do you believe social engineering is a thing? Do you believe that people can be socially engineered?
Hey.
Oh, I see you, bro. I see you. That's that good stuff.
Hey, you do come out with 6'2" on your jeans, 250 pounds, with being able to with the possibility of being able to squat 300 pounds. Everybody doesn't come out of the womb being able to even have that possible.
All right. You're making a point. Now, even on that ability to squat 300, you can come out with that on your DNA. That don't mean you're gonna ever attain that. That don't mean you gotta actually you gotta be driven for that. But that's still your environment. That's still a learned behavior.
Hey, it's a little nuanced, but I disagree in the fact that if we look at any professional record, the disparity between men and women, there is a huge disparity. And you can say you don't come out of the womb being able to do that, but tell me why then is there a huge disparity? Probably double. If we look at a weightlifting record, for example, the man is probably going to be double what the woman can do. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence.
To piggyback on your point, I want to ask you this. Are women being devalued? Do you feel like even though women are not physically as strong as men are, they can't really boss up to a man as well as a man can? Me and Tony have a disagreement. It has to be a certain level of still respect because there's still there's still a chance for or potential for violence should it escalate. A woman does not have such a hindrance on her when conferring with a man if she so chooses. So, do you think women make for great leaders? Can a woman be a president? Can a woman be a governor? Can a woman be a great leader in your opinion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love and value women, and I believe in God. I believe in gender roles per se, but I am not the boss of a woman. I am no better than a woman. I like to give the example. I just think any woman wants a man who's going to be able to be a leader. She doesn't want a man that if an intruder breaks
her being a leader though.
I understand, but I have to give this explanation first before I talk about that. I don't think any woman wants a man that will kowtow to her. And the example would be if an intruder breaks into our house, she doesn't want the man to say, you know what, babe, I just heard this glass break. Let's both go down and figure it out. Whoever gets there first, they tackle the intruder. Like, no.
Yeah.
A woman wants, at the end of the day, regardless of what society says today, when I say a woman, I'm talking about a bell curve. And if anybody knows what a bell curve is, the middle of that bell curve represents one standard deviation. That's about 67%. We can round it to 70%. And so When I talk about women, I'm talking about that one standard deviation or that 70%. And I think women want a leader. In my experience, anyway, women. I mean, we can say what we want, but at the end of the day, they still want that man. Whether she's going to make more money, whether she's going to be the president, whether she's going to work more hours than him, whether she's going to be more intelligent than him, she still wants him to have that capability, the propensity, or the intestinal fortitude to be able to, if shit hits the fan, he'll work the 10 jobs. He'll make sure that everything is okay. Right? Now, with that being said, absolutely, I think there's definitely room for women to take on more responsibility, to be leaders. There are way more women, way more intelligent than me. So why would I say that, hey, my undergrad's in engineering, why would I say that a woman can't be an engineer or can't design a rocket just because I'm a man? Absolutely. If she's smarter than me and she's put the work in, she deserves to do it. Absolutely.
Right. Sorry, I got it again. Oh, I hate to be pushing back on the homie so much. Damn. But it sounded contradictory. It sounded like you said, man, why would I step on Eddie Murphy's couch? I wouldn't do no shit like that. So yeah, I stepped on Eddie Murphy's couch.
No.
Bro, you said that the woman needs to be protected. The woman needs a leader. But then you're saying that the woman can be the leader. Well,
they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive.
They are actually.
No.
All right, give you a good example. I'm gonna give you a good example.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a better example. Oprah still wants. Oprah still wants Stedman to pull her hair and be a man.
Man, Stedman probably sit in the chair and gotta watch. Some young bulls give her that answer. But I was gonna say this. I always use this Village Bell example. Village Bell goes off. Bing, 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 bing. We say, men, go grab your swords. Women and children, lock yourself in the stable, in the chapel, barricade the chapel with the elderly and the children. Now, if a woman is in charge, if a woman is a leader, she's not going out there to grab the sword and go run to the gates to fend off the enemies. That's what the men do. So once the men have made it peaceful, then the woman says, now I want to be the leader of it. Now I can be the mayor of that town. Now I can be the president. Now that the men are doing the protecting.
I got a small caveat to that.
Be the leader. Let me get the Tamando question real quick. Tamando statement. Tamando said they are not devalued. Women overvalue themselves. Society tells a man who he is, but men give women value. We are not the same. And to that point, I want to say a man is loved by his utility. A man must be useful in a room. And that's whether men love you or women love you. That's whether people want you around or don't want you around. It is all based on her utility. A woman is not loved based on her usefulness. Or do you not agree to that? Is a woman loved by her usefulness, or I look at men are loved by their utility?
Hey, there's a caveat to this. You gave an example about the Village Bell. 1,000 years ago, that sounds great. That sounds really good, right? But today, we got drones. Wars aren't fought just with brawn, with I'm going to shoot you and overpower you. I think a woman has the same capability to use a computer or to use biological weapons as a man could, right? I mean,
why you got to get out of bed and not her at night? If that was the case.
I understand. Like me and you think the same in these lines that, hey, if one of us has to fall victim of the war, let it be the man, right? Because a woman has breasts to breastfeed our children. She has just things that Darwin and God says he gave her as far as being able to be a provider and to be more loving. So let the man be the victim, right? When it comes to a war. I get that. But what I'm saying is when it comes to creating the next drone or being behind a computer to fly that drone, a woman, if she's more capable, why would you sit on the sideline? Why would you sit her on the sideline?
I agree with you 100% on that, actually, but I just don't see a lot of and this is no. Hey, I love the ladies, of course. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see a lot of women inventors. I don't see a lot of women that have built skyscrapers, built designed bridges.
That's okay, but
I'm talking about you as an engineer, like for the most part, people that apply for patents and copyrights, inventive minds. There are not a lot of women that do that kind of creating. Women create through the physical, like a woman's creation is in the womb, whereas a man's creation is in his mind. Men create the world that women are living in. A man created the tampon. Think about this, Tony. Like for a million years, at least for the last 6,000 years.
A woman needed it, right? A woman needed it, right? And a man had to come through, right?
A man had to come through. For the last 6,000 years, women could not leave outside of their home area because they had periods. You know what I'm saying? So they couldn't work a job. They couldn't be on a rig for 10 hours at a time and blah blah blah.
Why not?
Because they had periods. Because they had periods. So for the last 10,000 years, women have been their role in the relationship.
I'll have to see that research, but I think they just put some cloth down there and absorb it.
Look it up. Yeah, I think it'll be actually interesting if you look up. Like, it's a documentary now about it now. But the guy created the tampon to make a women's life easier. Because of that, women were able to get into the workforce. And now, at this level that they are at, thanks to that man that created the tampon. There's a man that created the washing machine to make it easier on women. There was a man who created the stove to make it easier on women. Like, I think men have always been in the position where they wanted to take care of women. Tanya, shout out to the homie Tanya. Tanya said women are being devalued. Now, I would love, Tanya, leave me a comment. Let me know why you feel like women are being devalued, because I feel like most men I know, they want to protect and provide for women. They just have a hard time finding the right woman to protect and provide for. And a lot of men have never learned how. I just talked about this. I'm gonna let you have it, Tony. I was
just going to say, I want Tanya to give us a real life example of, again, hopefully she heard my analogy about bell curve, how the masses of men aren't valuing women, because I think we need women, and I think most men value women. But anyways, go ahead, Will.
No, I was going to say a lot of men have never learned how to protect and provide or take care of a woman, because all their life, if they're raised by a single mother, they saw a woman take care of them all their life. They was able to get their shoes, they allowance, everything from a woman. Their nurturing, their caregiving, their protections, their provisions from a woman. They never learn how a man is to handle such a responsibility. So it cripples them in a lot of different ways. I feel like this dynamic is going on, and we can see it taking place right now a lot of times with our younger men, especially. Like, a lot of boss women are doing the right thing. They got to provide for their homes. I get it. But the children, the sons, never learn how a man is to take care of a woman. He only learns how to live off a woman. But yeah, we'll see if she get back on here. Shout out to Tanya for the awesome question on that. Oh,
hey, man, I think that's easy for us to say, because especially in our culture, there's a lot of single parent households. But yeah, I think young boys, in their minds, they still seek out what dudes are doing. I'll give you an example. There were a lot of, predominantly in Saginaw inner city, single parent households. I still didn't see a lot of gay boys. I saw a lot of boys turning to gangs, turning to crime, turning to drugs. They were still seeking validation from older men. So I think just because there's an absence of a father doesn't mean that a young boy is looking for that validation from a woman. I think it's still innate in him to still seek the macho, the bravado, and seek that validation from one of his contemporaries.
I even on that aspect, I think that's where the men often get led astray or lose focus or get on the wrong path. Me personally, I lost my father at 8 years old. So when I got into my teens and really wanted to be like, man, I want to be a man, I had to see what kind of man I wanted to be. So I saw the dudes that was the gangbangers. Those were men. They was tough men. The girls liked them. I saw the dudes that was the drug dealers. They had the money. They had the cars. I saw the pastor. The pastor had a way with words. And what I gravitated toward, which led me astray, was the play. I felt like the more women I could satisfy, the better it was for me, the better man I was. And that caused me all kind of problems, especially in my 20s. But that's getting led astray because I did not have a male visible role model and just emulated what I saw and thought manhood was. You feel me?
Yeah. I guess, I mean, I can't disagree with that. What's that?
Who you model yourself after? What type of man did you model yourself after?
Hey, I always knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel. I always knew that there was gold at the end of the rainbow. And you've known me for 35 years, so plus. And I don't know. I just, some reason, I think God gave me enough foresight to know that there wasn't no future in your front, and like one of the songs would say, right? Yeah. But there was always going to be an end to the short-term stuff, right? The drug dealing, the gang banging. We all know where that ends, jail or the grave, right? And I never wanted that for me. I just always had a long-term approach, and the short-term didn't persuade me like it did a lot of my peers. I still look back today, and I remember a lot of my peers, especially females, they would tell me, "Oh, you play too much. You're immature." And looking back on that, I'm 16, 17 years old, right? In high school. Yeah. What the hell am I supposed to do? I should be playful, right? I should be immature. But the dynamics present in inner city, a lot of times kids don't feel there's room to be kids anymore. They feel a rush or a need to be way mature beyond their age. And we got to get back to letting kids be kids and letting them know there's way more out there than what's in front of their nose and what they see in rap videos.
That's very true. I agree with that 100%. All right. Tomato said, share that photo. Let me get this right. Make sure I get this. Oh, yeah. Boom. All right. I'm trying to make sure I find what he's looking for. All right. He said, show that photo shoot of Rihanna and ASAP subliminal message of demasculating the man's gender role. All right. So this is the picture. So let's hear your thoughts on this, bro. Let's see your thoughts on this.
I mean, it's a Vogue cover shoot. It's meant to sensationalize something, and I don't give it much imagination in my brain. I mean, you can call it something that it ain't necessarily, but I mean, to me, it's a photo shoot, and it's trying to. I mean, I guess Vogue is trying to say things have changed a little bit, and Rihanna's the billionaire, A$AP Rocky's the millionaire, and this is modern day. But that's still not pervasive. It's still not the norm. So, again, it doesn't occupy a lot of space in my brain.
All right, what is the message that's being said? I mean, first of all, Rihanna out there saying it with her chest. She got her chest out like she bossed up. This nigga in the back, he out there looking like a nice stay-at-home mom.
Hey,
it's like a gender reverse.
The problem is
the woman's walking in front, like it's a whole gender reverse. So you don't think so? All right, do tell. What's your breakdown?
I'm gonna give you this example. I got the popo rolling by. Fire rescue. No, this is the very first. No, I don't stay in the hood. That's just fire rescue. This is the very first time I've ever seen this Vogue cover. right? And
Really?
so
Okay.
your question is the message. Everybody has a message to send. And just because, again, I talked about it earlier, what the media tries to perpetuate, just because there is a message to be sent doesn't mean it's valid, doesn't mean that's the norm, doesn't mean that that's what everybody else is thinking. It's just a message. Everybody
You
wants to
don't
have
got
a
no
voice.
problem with this? You don't got no problem
No.
with that?
What's
Okay.
the
All right.
problem with what? He ASAP Rocky ain't got a problem with it. Why would I have a problem with it?
A$AP Rocky, my favorite young rapper, by the way.
So why would I have a problem with it?
All right. You don't think this is
No, I just told
a
you.
tough message to young men?
No. This Vogue has a very small niche audience, and again, I've never seen that until today. So my boys have probably never seen it. I got 3 of them upstairs right now. They've probably never seen it. So absolutely not.
All right. All right. Interesting. Interesting. All right, Tamando, you hear that? The man say he got no issues with it. As far as on your aspect, let me put up his comment again so we can make sure what he was touching on. He was touching on it looks like the aspects of demasculization.
I'm doing a live.
All right. Subliminal message of demasculating the man's gender role. All right. Shout out to Tamando. He requested that we put it up. All right. And then Tanya came back. She said today's society is very sensitive. I do agree with that. I think people.
Hey, hold on. Hold on, Will. Hey, Will, hold on. Yeah. I got to speak to Tanya.
Hey, I'm gonna call Tanya up here. I'm gonna bring Tanya on screen.
Hold on. Hey, that's fine, but Tanya's first message was that women are devalued. To me, that was a little sensitive because I think there's a lot of men that don't devalue women. And then she comes back later to say that society is so sensitive. To me, that's totally different approaches right there.
Hey, I get you on that. I fucks with you on that one, bro. She said she put the why would I step on Eddie Murphy's couch? She put yeah. All right. So yeah, man. I thought that was pretty interesting though. Shout out to Tomato for that nice screen share. All right, I look at it like on that aspect, bro. I agree though. I think it is a subliminal message promoting the demasculization of men. That's like saying seeing a man in a dress is just for shits and giggles. Like once you start seeing too many men in dresses, you start saying, wait a minute, now I'm starting to see a pattern here. And that's what I'm talking about as far as on that aspect. I see a pattern emerging, a growing pattern where it's seems like it's accepted in society for men to be in submissive roles with their woman.
Hey, I would still caution you to look at the statistics. Again, I think a lot of these myths are perpetuated by the media, by social media, and they look more pervasive than they really are. When we look at it, still less than 10% of people are homosexuals. So I don't know, even though it's more tolerated now, probably as it should, right? I think we should tolerate, absolutely. Yeah. I think we should love everyone, absolutely. But I think way more people try it. But I think at the end of the day, it's a little bit more pervasive than it was 30 years ago. But I still don't think it's tipped the scale. So again, I think we should look at the numbers opposed to just saying, hey, this is what social media says is happening, and this is what's happening. Just because it's on the internet don't mean it happened.
Very true. Very true. Very true. All right, I got a question for you on this one, bro. Next topic. Let's see how you tackle this one, though.
Uh-oh.
Eesh.
Eesh.
Tell me, bro. What say the homie?
I don't know why you would. Absolutely, he can, but why would you? If you have one that's holding it down, that's providing you everything you need, like, bro, life is so effing busy. You got kids, you got mortgages, you got travel, you got events to go to, you got family to see. it is so, like people who are polygamous, who are doing this, they are so spread thin. Only because me just having
How you
one,
know?
huh?
How you know?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm a very busy man, and I don't have enough time. Like if you have a woman that you really love, that's really holding it down, that you want to be with, like you're still having to force time with her. You're still having to like last minute do stuff. There's not enough time in the day with the one.
All right,
Absolutely. So can you?
so you only date one woman at a time?
If you're single, you don't have to. But once the awesome woman occupies your life, she's gonna be enough. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I agree with you on that.
But you and I have talked about this.
Hours. You got the same amount of hours and time allotment while you're single than while you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Hey. Like even when you're single, are you saying I ain't got time to be dating more than one of them? You know what I'm saying? I ain't got enough time to do that.
No, because you're not giving any one person all of you. You probably should, but you aren't. You're splitting hairs, right? Because you guys don't know each other yet. You're not fully entrusted into each other, so you're not making all the sacrifices, right?
So how do you go about the process of say you're courting, dating 5 women?
No.
Hold on.
No. We got to change this question on the screen. Then we're talking about love. We're not talking about dating.
No. Well, that's what I'm asking you. Let me give you this question real quick. Say you're courting and dating 5 women, and you find one that you say, man, she's the one. Maybe it's 2, but we just gonna use one for right now. What do you do with the other 4 women? They really might like you. They really felt just as highly as she did, maybe. A couple of them with some strong possibles. You know what I'm saying? But what do you do with such women?
You want the politically correct answer?
Man, I want the Tony from the hood answer, bro.
Hey, the Tony from the hood answer is you just fall back on the rest of them.
You start ghosting everybody.
No, it's not necessarily ghosting. Like women expect men to show effort. And most women will write down on paper, if he ain't showing effort, then I know what it is. And so once that effort starts to dissipate, we all know what it is. I think sometimes we want it black and white. And so what I was going to ask about the politically correct answer is, I guess you give it to him black and white and say, you know what? I found somebody else. You're awesome, but this ain't it. Right? But to me, the Tony from Saginaw, if we hadn't established any commitment, then if I start falling back, we all know what it is. I'm going to drink to that.
Hey, that's real right there. All right, let's see.
Hey, but hold on. I think it's.
Let me see what Tamando say real quick. It's sensitive because women made this cancel culture, and music and entertainment has always programmed behaviors. I'm gone. I can take that mash soup. And only 1% of the population is LGBTQ. Bro, facts off. I can't say 1%, bro.
I don't know if I'm going 1%, but
I can't go 1%, man. I think that 10% sound. I think 10% sound a little bit more. I think 10% sound low. If you want to go there,
maybe 10% may be low, but I'm still gonna go with 10%. But
yeah, I'll say 10% well before I say 1%. But I get your point as far as on the cancel culture and as far as on the program behaviors. I do believe that music and entertainment, media in general, is designed and is designed more so to program you. That's why it's called television programming, music programming. It's designed to program the behaviors that they want to encourage in people. It's no we were going to talk about the lanes, a man being a lane. But I wanted to Mando's point, I wanted to say this. Like as far as rap music, the rapper is seen as the ideal man for a lot of young women with impressionable minds because they get it from the music, they get it from the celebrity lifestyle. So they call a man that has a job, keeps himself well together, focused, articulates himself well, they call him a lane. But a man that's a thug that's in the street on his way to the joint at some point, That's the man she'll let knock her up. Shout out to Future and Sierra, Russell Wilson. But yeah, bro, what's your thoughts on what he was saying? You think 1%? You giving him some credit? He said your facts off on 10%.
He said my facts off on 10%.
Yeah, he said
that's
closer to 1%, man.
I mean, that's a quick Google search away.
Hey, Google do solve every problem.
Google solves
Google
every
can't
day.
give you that answer. Really. Let me see if I can find it before you. All right, anybody in the audience, y'all got any facts on what's the percentage in America that is homosexual?
Hey, it says about 7.1% is what I'm looking at.
Okay.
And so I was, yep,
You were
7%.
closer to 1% for sure.
What's that?
I said you were closer than 1% for sure.
Yeah, it looks like about 7%.
Yeah. I see 7.2% on Gallup.
Yep.
All right. Well, there we have it.
I mean, this is why I said earlier, the pendulum can only swing so far one way. I mean, the media wants to sensationalize facts. They want to, because they got to sell newspapers, right? They got to sell advertisement. And so they definitely have to, but we saw it with Budweiser and the Dylan Mulvaney thing. People said, you know what, enough is enough. Beer drinkers are white men who are blue collar, who do dip and got a dad bod, right? And that picture, that person is a Christian male who has conservative values. And you're telling me that I have to turn my cup around and see a transgender. Shout out to all the transgenders out there. Do you? However, that person I just described isn't interested in having to pay for marketing dollars when he buys a Budweiser to say this is what it is, because that's not what it is. And that's the pendulum swinging, and Budweiser, to the tune of like $20 billion, is paying for that. And they'll probably never, ever, ever make that mistake again. Crazy.
Hey, look at the homie came through. He said Tony was right. He stand corrected. All right, there. I gotta give him credit for that. He can't say when he's wrong. He stand on when he's right, but he can say when he's wrong. That's what we want out of man. I like that. Shout out to him for that. But no, I think you make some great points on that, man. And on my end, like I don't know. I felt the kind of way about that Budweiser ad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ish. Can't even mess with no Budweiser. Y'all doing stuff like this, man.
Hey, but you know what, Will?
Like that's a lot of stuff, bro. I'm like that. I don't like Marvel no more. Like I watched all the Marvel movies up until Endgame. I'm done after Endgame. I don't need no more Marvel movies, bro. I think the programming that I see in the movies these days, it just don't send the right message to me. So I'd rather not watch them no more. But it's the same thing with the beer. The programming that I see that they're attempting to do, like you said, they'll probably never make that mistake again. But hey, they lost a customer in me, and I was on that Bud Platinum heavy.
Hey, I don't know if we started this whole live out, and what we said was, and maybe we'll end it the same way. I said that I forgot the question you posed, but I remember the answer I gave. I said it was fake, right? And I think the gender war, the gender divide. You said it's fake. Yeah, I said it was fake, right? And I think this whole Dylan Mulvaney thing and that ad is a microcosm of the fakeness, right? Explain that, elaborate a little bit. I'm about to. That's why I said it, right? Because the marketers at Budweiser pretended that they wanted to reach a niche audience and that everybody else was going to be okay with it, right? It was a pretend. They didn't do the marketing research. They just said, hey, CNN, People, what's that thing you showed Rihanna? Who was that? Vogue. They said all these people are pushing this, and so it gotta be right. Without doing the market research, because if they would have done it, they would have known that it wasn't right. And so that's why it's fake. Because
all right, I'm gonna say this. You don't think a lot of that is adding diversity, equity, and inclusion into these corporate companies?
It is, but that's fake. That's fake.
All right. Yeah.
That's fake. Because
at the end, they're getting rid of it. They're getting rid of it in Texas too.
At the end of the day, I think there's a fine line. I definitely think that there's a lot of racism in our society. So if you don't put parameters in place to give Black people, especially, opportunities, white people that make decisions about hiring, it's easy for them to exclude us. So I have a problem with that. And I don't know what the solution is to get us included more.
You got me. I want to talk about that. That's what I want to talk about.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, which doesn't ever happen, right? I think the best person, regardless of any race, religion, creed, if the job has to be done, if I need a wedding cake and I want the best wedding cake at the best price, I want to close my eyes and have that person make that dang thing for me, right? Because I want that bomb cake and I want to pay the least price for it. And so whoever can do that is going to be clean, going to get the best presentation and satisfy that. I really don't care who it is, right? And I think that's any job, right? Whether it's an engineer, whether it's a physician, or any job, an athlete, we want the best person that's qualified to do that job.
All right.
And that's what I'm standing on.
All right, I want to say this about this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I understand it already before I say it, but I'm so not a proponent of affirmative action. I feel like affirmative action devalues the job because you're not really hiring the best qualified candidate, not necessarily. You're hiring based on quotas. And once you start giving one person a quota, you got to start giving more people the quota. So when you go through the civil rights movement where Black people getting their ass kicked all over the place, water hoses sprayed on them, dogs biting them, we fight for these civil rights. We get this affirmative action. The white woman say, hey, I'm getting shortchanged too. She ain't have to get them ass whoopings, but she gonna benefit from it. The Indian man says, hey, I ain't get these opportunities either. The Hispanic man, all these folks are saying like, hey, let me jump on the back of Black folks and I fought for these things and I want these opportunities too. And now we're sharing those opportunities with those people. That's number one. Number two, I got to say this. I like a meritocracy where it is, I have the merit for the opportunity. I have the most merit for it. I qualified for it, things like such. So when you go to something like basketball is something that, hey, there is no 5'6" Jewish people playing in the NBA. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care who your connections is. You're not getting on no team. You have to be the most qualified person because our team is trying to win. I think on that aspect, we shortchange ourselves with affirmative action. And furthermore, I don't understand why we don't just build our own stuff. Like I got this power washing business. Shout out everybody to HM Power Wash. Here's the stain just to wash away. And on my business, my dream and goal is to employ people that look like me. I want to employ young men that I go to the boxing gym with, that I play basketball with on the court. Take them out on the road, show them the skill, let them make some money. I don't want to have to, if I need 10 people, hey, 4 of them got to be white dudes, 2 of them got to be Hispanic. Like, I want to be able to employ my people. Why can't the white man invent a company and employ his own people? Why can't he see that his own people flourish? Why does he have to carry the black man when the black man doesn't want to carry himself? Why aren't NFL players starting their own league? Why NBA players? Ice Cube just started a league. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a man that's thinking like ownership.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. For so many years, this nation has been 70% white. And so if we wanted to put that notion on our backs, then we would all be extinct today. Because in 1776, 1832, they would have got rid of us all, right? If we said, well, if the white man just wants to have his own, then the niggers would just still be slaves. Hey, so hold on. Hey, this when you were talking about this brought me back to a topic that just got settled in Supreme Court recently. Like, so Harvard for years has been trying to keep their roles kind of equal, right? And
I saw that.
Yeah. So the Asian population, they come over from wherever they come from. Sorry that I'm ignorant to this topic. Where you come from. I'm not trying to be ignorant to it, by the way, who's ever watching. But what I'm saying is, a lot of these cultures, the Asian cultures, they don't do anything but study the SAT or the ACT. And they're going to get a 4.3, and they're going to get a 36 on the ACT and a 16. Huh? No. ACT, they're going to get a 36, and the SAT, they're going to get a 1600, right? Because that's all they do. They're not going to be playing. They're not going to be in the band. They're not going to be doing community service. They're not going to be working at their dad's ice cream shop. Only thing they're focused on is doing great on one thing. And I agree with Harvard. That's not the person or the candidate that we necessarily want. A person who's going to be so maniacal in one topic that they're not going to have the breadth, because those aren't necessarily great leaders, right?
I think that's a straw man you built. That's a straw man argument. That's not the case.
Why is it not the case?
I mean, you're making an assumption that they're only good at just their scholastic. That's how everybody gets it.
No. I'm not. That's not a straw man argument. I've seen the write-ups about what the Asian culture is putting in their applications. They're very strong in the academic part. They're very weak.
They have clubs and they still have clubs that they're in. Chess club, debate club.
No, they're very weak at that. They may have one where a black person or a white person may be in 7 or 8 different clubs and doing all these other things. The Asians have 1 or 2 things that they're doing that's extracurricular. So it's not a straw man argument at all. You can go read it.
All right. This is Thomas Sowell. I don't know if you know Thomas Sowell. Big time Republican economist, black guy. He talks about the fact that the top 1% of black people, the black SAT scores, ACT scores that get admitted into Harvard, fell out of Harvard, and they asked him to do a study on it. And it turns out that even though they were at the top 1% of all applicants that were black, meaning all black applicants, they were at the top 1%. They would have been in the top 30% for white applicants. They would have been in the top. They would have been in the top 40 to 50% in Asian applicants. They weren't high level applicants. They were high level for black people, basically.
Right.
And they were failing out of Harvard because the work was too intensive for them. And he was giving this example because those same kids had they gone to a just a step lower tier school like a Stanford, Columbia, things like such, those kids would have excelled in those programs. But since they reached for such a level and were counted in on their diversity, those kids failed. A lot of kids fail in Harvard that are black.
Disagree. I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. So these black people who are going there, they were the tops in their class. They were valedictorians. They were salutatorians, right? And so if you're telling me that our best are dumb, which is almost your argument, hold on, let me finish, then I can't buy that. The problem was I saw it with myself going to engineering school, right?
Mm-hmm.
At Michigan Tech. It was very hard. The problem is it's not that we're going to be in the 40% of Asians or the 30% of white people. The problem is our curriculums at our prospective high schools didn't offer enough to put us where we needed to be. So it wasn't necessarily us and our cognitive abilities. It was that we didn't have the background to be successful there. And if you don't have the background and you don't have the intestinal fortitude to say, damn, I'm 1,000 miles away from my family. School is hard. Everybody looks different than me. The food is different. It's cold. It's so easy for you to fail out. So it had nothing to do with their cognitive ability to me and where they would stand as far as their percentile in different cultures. It's merely the fact that in our schools, just like I saw, we weren't challenged enough and we didn't have the preparation is the word to be successful there.
I agree with you on that. And that's the learning curve in a lot of black schools.
Absolutely. Yes.
You got to teach to the level of the medium student, basically.
Got it.
But Thomas Sowell, he gave his example. He was a professor at Harvard in economics. He would he gave out his syllabus with 300-page books that every week you have to write a report on these books. And the black kids were frustrated because they could not keep up with the work. Again,
that was me. Absolutely.
Cognitive ability. You know what I'm saying? It's not a cognitive ability thing. It's just that those are not skills that were sharpened while we were in high school.
Right.
So I get you on that. But it does not change the fact that we struggle in such environments.
Yeah, but we're not struggling because of our rank. We're struggling only because it's like an athlete. Like Will, you could be faster than me, right? But if you and I, like if you hadn't played football to the level I played, and we had to go through 2 or 3 hours of practice, you're going to be gassed and not as prepared as me, somebody who's 50 pounds heavier than you, because I know what it takes. I've been doing this for 5 years, and I know the regimen. I've seen it so much where guys were smaller, faster, and were giving up before I would because I knew what to expect. I've done it for years, and this is just par for the course, right? And that's just the way it is, right? So that's why we're giving up, because for us, it's not par for the course for us. For us, it was like we had to be down to the competition per se, right? And so now we got to level up our game, and we got all these other challenges, and it's tough. It's tough.
That's very true. So do you think affirmative action is necessary today?
Is it necessary today? I think in certain communities like ours, and we just had a whole diatribe about it, where if Will Harris goes to Saginaw High or Buena Vista High, where it's an F school, but Will is the valedictorian, there's no way that you could there is a way. There's just some savants or people who are just off the charts, right? But the average valedictorian coming from one of our schools probably wouldn't be prepared. So I think we, in a positive way, could benefit from it.
Wow. All right, even in the workforce, like a person coming from such an environment is not reared in a way to be disciplined such a way to put them in charge of a department at your facility or your corporation. I think would be foolhardy if you can clearly see the person is coming from an environment that was dysfunctional, F level from the schooling, to put them in charge of your company. I think that's not a meritocracy. That's the opposite of a meritocracy. And that's what my problem I'm having with affirmative action on that aspect, bro. But yeah. I think you touch on some pretty good points on that, man.
No, I mean on a macro level, absolutely. I think affirmative action is kind of BS because it discredits uh, people who work hard because it's easy for someone outside of the group that benefited from affirmative action to say, "Oh, he only got here because of that," or "She only got here because of this," right? So
Yeah.
I understand that, but again, I see racism on a daily basis. It's never going
Daily.
away.
Daily.
A daily basis. A daily basis.
Mm.
I'm not saying directly, but indirectly. I mean,
Yeah.
and we know what happens. I went to China in 2010 or 11, and it's just indicative of human nature. The Chinese, they look at numbers. They're numbers driven,
Mm.
and they don't trust black people to outperform other races, white, Asian people. And so when it comes to doing business, they prefer not to do business with us because they don't think we're going to, as a whole, live up to the expectation. I'm sure they know that there are anomalies and that black people can be successful, but they're saying, hey, if I got to play the lottery, if I had to put my eggs in one basket and I got to look at the numbers, it's not going to be a Negro. And
Mm.
And that's just a microcosm of what racism looks like. They say, hey, um, her name is Bonquisha. She's from Saginaw, Michigan. The odds are likely that somebody else will do a better job than her. So I'm going to focus my resources and time on someone who else's name is not Bonquisha. That's just how it is.
Hey, that's disheartening. That's tough for Bonquisha. I blame my mom and daddy for that name, though. But you should not be able to discriminate against somebody based on their name, their gender, things like that. So I feel you on that 100%. But yeah, man, I don't see much racism, man. Me personally, I see a lot of poor choices that we make that we want to have excused. I see a lot of being a victim and then being hypersensitive to stay a victim. So I think it causes a lot of issues for us as a people in that regard. Me personally, I want to talk to you about fatherhood now before we jump off. We got like 10 minutes left. I want to jump off, so I want to ask you about fatherhood. What's some like having a daughter? How old is your oldest daughter, bro?
16.
All right. So having a teenage daughter, what's that like for a former player like yourself, man?
What is that like? What do you mean?
Like as far as like is your daughter out here dating? Is she entertaining guys? Like what is that? Does she go to dances with somebody? You know, like what's going on? I just went through it. My daughter 18.
Hey, man, I was 16 before. I know how that works.
Yeah.
I am very pragmatic. I am not naive. I expect certain things. So
Yeah.
I'm not of the opinion that all this stuff can't happen. This won't happen. That's my daughter. Like, no, I expect that. So I want kids to be kids. I want kids to do what kids do. And I think our jobs as parents is to try to instruct or influence them to be responsible as possible and do the right things. And so that's how I carry myself because kids, their frontal lobes aren't fully developed. They're going to make mistakes.
Mm.
That's to be expected. But as parents, we have to try to help them minimize their mistakes. That's our jobs.
Do you feel like you rear your daughters different than your sons?
You should. Like, yeah, especially being black, right? The black male, there's no other demographic beside the black male, in my opinion, who's going to have a harder time just existing, just period. And so women, we know they get a bogey, as they should. We've kind of been touching on this as we've gone, and we asked, like one of the viewers asked, were women not valued? But we all know that women get a bogey. You and I, we've talked about this a lot of times in our community. If you go to the wrong side of the track and you go to a grocery store as a young black male, presenting yourself to another black male, you may get accosted, right? But if you're a woman, you can pretty much go and move as you want to go. And again,
you might get hit with that, hey, little mama, hey, though. Hey, little mama.
You might get hit with that, right? But you're off limits to an extent, right? But as a black male, you're not off limits in your own community. You're not off limit in the white community. We have to outperform other races to get the same opportunities. So when you ask the question, do I treat my daughters different than I would treat my sons? Absolutely, because they have to outperform my daughters or any other race to get the same treatment. So I got to treat them differently. I got to treat them to be hungrier, nastier, with more intestinal fortitude, with more moxie, with more stick-to-itiveness, with more resolve. All those things that men should have, a black man has to have more of it, or he's going to fall prey to or victim to others. 100%.
I agree with you actually on this point wholeheartedly. And I look at it like I just saw my daughter graduate high school, and when she graduated, she was given a full ride to TCU, $78,000 a year. I ain't gotta pay for it. She got in there. She's the only black girl on her white sorority, so they made her vice president. So now she's going to her sophomore year, and she's sitting on the board for all sororities. And this is all because she's a double minority when we really want to go there.
Double.
Woman. And when my boys get ready to go through college in a couple years, I don't know if they're going to have the same I feel like if you want your baby bird to fly out the nest, my daughter got shot into the stars, nigga. They pushed her out there big time. My sons, no, we're gonna have to pedal you out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna get the same opportunities my daughter get. Not because they're not as intelligent, not because they're not from the same kind of household, went to the same schools. It's gonna be because they are males. So they gotta outperform, like you said, your sons gotta even outperform your daughters, not just the other races. And that's it's like the push for female empowerment is coming at a good wave for our daughters, but it's to the detriment of our sons.
Right.
And I want to give you this example, like in the 1950s, we can go back there. 1950s, if we could say that, let's just say 100% of the jobs on the workforce, this is just a crazy number, but 100% of the jobs on the workforce is men. If you say, you know what, we need to even these things out. We need to have it gender equal, gender equality. So you say 50% go to men, 50% go to women. That leaves 50% of men jobless, though. Now, the 50% of women that are jobless, they can still be traditional housewives. But what is it for the man who wants to be a protector and provider of that 50% on the bottom level of men, where 50% of the women got the jobs and the opportunity? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we going to do with these leftover men who don't get opportunity, who don't have the resources backing them? What say you?
What say you me? Well, what I say me is that to me, life has always had a way to correct behaviors. And again, in our cultures, you spoke to it earlier, all too often our behaviors don't align with, unfortunately, don't align with characteristics that really help the greater good sometimes. And so we got to get in line. That's the bottom line. As men, you got to get in line. And I'm tired of hearing the old adage, the white man this, or I don't want to work for anybody, or I want to. I mean, people don't understand. Like, if you want to be a successful business owner or a successful entrepreneur, Will, you're going through it right now. Like people want to work 6 hours a day, 3 hours a day, have $1 million, go to Tahiti, go to Tulum, and have great sex and a blunt, and like that's not reality. No, if you're a business owner, you're gonna work 16 freaking hours a day, and you're gonna struggle for 5 to 10 years. That's what it is.
Yep. It's a grind.
But the thing is, in our culture, we want instant gratification. We don't want to pay the way for 10 years, to pay our dues, to let the cream rise to the top. Yeah, I mean, sometimes in life, there's instant celebrities. People win the Powerball, like just last night somebody did, right? But by and large, you got to put your work in. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, started Amazon in his garage, I don't know, 1990, right? Selling books.
His wife gave him a loan for $40,000 to start it.
There you go, right? 1990, whatever it is, right? He probably didn't become a millionaire until 15 years after that.
Real talk.
And then a billionaire after that. But like us, we say, you know what? I see Future driving a Bentley, so you know what? I'm going to do a PPP loan to get it. And we talked about this earlier. That fast money, that fast ideal, that goes fast too. Like we talked about drug dealing and game banging. That stuff don't last. Anything that's going to last, you're going to work hard for it. And it's something that's imprinted on your brain to make you value that hard work. You know, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, the borrowing, the begging, the pleading, all those things you have to do helps build that character for the person you need to be to persevere in an economy or society where there's dynamics and challenges. So for you to think that, you know what, I just want to go to work and make $1 million and go home and do it all over again, like that, you haven't even cultivated the stick-to-itiveness to be able to have any long-lasting success. So, like, I mean, don't even make sense to me. Don't even make sense.
No, I agree with Dave. Hey, we're going to have to do this again sometime soon, man. We got to jump off now. But anytime you want to jump on again, we're going to have to chat it up on it, man. Hey, everybody, this is the homie Tony. Tony came through, jumped on the live. We did our thing. We get it up with y'all. Peace. Stay on, Tony. We're going to chat it up in the back room.